Egghead Hockey here. Today we're going to be talking about the possibility of the Canucks trading Trade Virtanen and if trading him makes sense. But before we get into today's video, if you do go on to enjoy it, please consider subscribing to tune in for more content coming out frequently. Also, the reason why I haven't uploaded for the past 6 or 7 days is because my microphone broke while I was on vacation, so I couldn't get a new microphone or anything or upload. So yeah, also I'm using my brother's mic right now, so it might be quieter or something, I don't know. Anyways, let's get into the video. First, let's talk about the possibility of the Canucks trading Virtanen, or more specifically, why they would trade him. It's pretty well known throughout the Canucks community that Virtanen has some attitude issues, and he often gets out of shape, he misbehaves, and sometimes he just doesn't try. Some people may even say that Virtanen causes more problems than he solves, and a lot of you would probably agree with that statement. Personally, I have my own opinions for each side. He does cause a lot of problems, including things I'm going to talk about after this. But he does also provide some good offense, physicality, and energy. But is that worth the problems that come with it? Probably not. But at the same time, power forwards can be very hard to come across and very valuable, especially when they have the offensive skill set that Virtanen has, and especially on playoff teams like the Canucks. But they do have Bo, and they do have, I guess you could say, JT Miller, but those guys aren't really power forwards, they're more skill players, and they do need some good depth players as well. So, would you rather keep him for his playing style and just deal with his problems, or trade him away and lose a very solid power forward? The next reason why the Canucks would trade Jake is because of their cap situation. Not only does he cause problems with the team, he also somewhat contributes to the already messy financial problems that the Canucks have. Virtanen probably causes more problems in terms of cap just because of how bad the situation is. And if they sign him, it could lead to the Canucks losing some key players. Although Virtanen will probably only get $1 to $3 million, even a small contract could and probably will stand in the way of signing a key player like Tanev or Toffoli. That's how much of a cap crunch the Canucks are in. Also, Jim Benning has said that he kind of wants to replenish picks, and has said that either Troy Stecher or Jake Virtanen could be the guys who could be sent away for some picks. So that adds even more reason for Virtanen to get traded away. So now that we talked about the possibility of a trade, or why a trade would happen, let's talk about if it makes sense to trade him. So first, let's talk about value. Matt Sakaris has said that Virtanen's value around the league is somewhere between a 3rd to 5th round pick, and I think they could maybe pull off a late 2nd rounder for Virtanen. Now, a lot of my subscribers who are Canucks fans might be scratching their heads on that value estimate, but let's be real, we definitely overvalue Virtanen. But we overvalue him just like how other teams overvalue some of their own players. People might say, but he's a 20-goal scorer with 40 to 55 point potential, and maybe if he gets lucky, 60-point upside. When in reality, he is a 6th overall pick from 6 years ago who has had loads of issues both on and off the ice, has scored 30 points in a season once in almost over 300 games, and is yet to score 20 goals. People overvalue Virtanen, and that's the truth. If Virtanen didn't have all these attitude issues, and if he was signed, of course, he could probably be worth a 1st round pick. Of course, it would probably be a 20th overall or worse, but that is still a good return. But Virtanen does have those attitude issues, and he is unsigned for next year, so his value is significantly lowered by that. And if you were to trade him to a good team, he would probably cause cap problems and team problems. And if you were traded to a bad team, he probably wouldn't cause cap problems, but he would cause team problems. So throughout the league, there isn't that much want for specifically Virtanen as a person, and that's why he's worth so little. So if it's possible for the Canucks to sign him, I think they should, because if you're only getting a 3rd round pick at best, is it really worth trading him away? He does give them some good offense, and it's honestly better than a 3rd to 5th round pick, risk-wise, as Virtanen is an NHLer, whereas the pick has so much uncertainty, but it could pay off. And the Canucks already have some very good prospects, and Virtanen is not even that old. Obviously, I would want them to keep him if it was possible with signing Toffoli, Tanev, and Markstrom, but it isn't looking like it's going to be possible. So I think they will trade him, as he is probably going to ask for like $2 to $3 million, and unless they make some trades, it wouldn't be worth it to sign Virtanen, as you might be losing a key player for someone who causes some pretty big problems. I could go either way, but in terms of what is smartest, I think trading Virtanen is the play. So I would like to keep him, but it's not really smart to keep him, and I'd rather keep Tanev or Toffoli over him. It will be hard to find a Virtanen trade because of his attitude and the fact that he's an unsigned RFA. Also because the Canucks can't afford to trade him for a player because of their cap situation. So chances are that in a trade, we'll probably get fleeced. But not having to sign him will be worth it, as the money they would have potentially spent on him will be used to sign a player like Tanev or Toffoli. Some of you might be saying, what about the holes in the depth? Won't trading him weaken the depth part of the Canucks lineup? And also, some of you who are very good listeners might say that, oh, didn't you say earlier that the Canucks need to keep some depth players, and that was part of your argument for keeping Virtanen? Well, yeah, I did say that, but they don't really need Virtanen specifically. They need to keep depth players. My point was, they should probably hold on to him because they need depth players, but it's not the end of the world if they get rid of him. We have some good scratch players like Zach McEwen, Justin Bailey, and Tyler Mott, and more. So the holes will be filled. Plus, the trade would come after the playoffs, so they wouldn't need to fill any holes until the next season. And next season, we have Nils Hoglander coming, and I think he will fill in a spot on the fourth line where Virtanen would have been, but of course, in this, fantasy or mock or whatever, he's traded. So we won't have any problems filling in his slot. And also the fact that Zach McEwen could literally take Jake's spot in the lineup for the playoffs is pretty reassuring. Anyways, that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please consider subscribing to tune in for more content coming out very frequently. Until next time, bye.